Okay guys, so we're here at 65 and we're going to try to find all of these angles. So the only angle it gives us is 9, which is 118 degrees. Okay, well that's vertical with this angle, so angle A is also 118 degrees. And remember that the diagonals are congruent and they're also bisected. Because of that, this becomes an isosceles triangle. So I'm going to do 180 minus 118, and that will give me 62. Okay, so that's 62 between both of these angles. I'm going to divide it by 2 and get 31. So that means this angle 8 is 31 degrees, and this angle 8 is 31 degrees. So I'll go ahead and start filling stuff in. Angle 1 is 38 degrees, and angle 8 is 31 degrees. All right, well, it's a rectangle, so it forms 90 degrees, right, in each of its corners. I'm going to do 90 and subtract 31, and that will give me 59 degrees. So I know that angle 7 and angle 2 are both 59 degrees. Whoops, 59 degrees. So let's find angle 7, 59, and angle 2, 59 degrees. Okay, well then we start looking here, and 118, well, angle 11 and angle 9, they form a linear pair, so again 180 minus 118 is 62 degrees, so angle 11 is 62 degrees, and 11 and 10, they're vertical, so that is also 62 degrees. Well, if I look at angle 6, it has to be congruent to angle 2 because they're alternate interior angles. So angle 6 has to be 59 degrees, which means that if I'm looking at angle 3, its alternate interior was 7, which angle 7 was 59 degrees. So angle 3 is also 59 degrees. And angle 4 here is alternate interiors with angle 8, which is 31 degrees, and the same with angle 5, alternate interiors with with angle 1, which is 31 degrees. Remember, these are parallel because it's a parallelogram, and this you can view as a transversal. That's where I'm identifying the alternate interior angles. Okay, so we're going to move down to 66, and we're talking about ROM. The angle 4 is 56 degrees. All right, and then right here, angle 9 is 90 degrees because remember the diagonals of a rhombus always form 90 degrees. So I want to find angle 5. I'm going to do 180. I'm going to look at this as a triangle and think 180. I'm going to subtract 90, and I'm going to subtract 56. And that will give me 34 degrees. So the measure of angle 5 is 34 degrees. Okay, again, parallel, right? So 5 and 1, they're alternate interior angles. This would be 34 degrees. And if we remember, the angles are bisected. So if this is 34 for 5, then 6, then 6 also has to be 34 degrees. So the measure of angle 6 is 34 degrees. Again, it's alternate interior with 2. So that's 34 degrees. Angle 10 is a diagonal, right? 2 diagonals bisected, so that has to be 90 degrees. I look over at 3. Well, if 4 is 56 degrees, and remember they're bisected, then angle 3 also has to be 56 degrees. So 56. Alternate interiors, angle 4 and 8, so that would be 56 degrees. Same with angle 7, alternate interiors with angle 3, so that would be 56 degrees. And then 9, we already said, was 90 degrees. You just have to apply some of your knowledge. All right, and then we're moving down to 67 here. And it says that RM, this segment right here, is equal to x squared minus 2x. And that OH is equal to 5x minus 12. Well, these are opposite sides, so they're equal to each other. X squared minus 2x equals 5x minus 12. Remember, guys, this is squared, so we're going to think factor and quadratic. I'm going to move over my 5x and to move over my 12. So I would have x squared minus 7x plus 12. Plus 12 equals 0. Okay, so now I can do my little x factor, right? I'm going to multiply these two numbers. There's always a 1 here. 1 times 12 is 12. And I'm going to take my middle number and bring it down here. So that's going to be negative 7. All right, what multiplies to a positive 12 and adds to a negative 7? That would be negative 4 and negative 3. All right, so I'm going to take these two numbers and put them in parentheses, x minus 4 and x minus 3. Remember, it's equal to 0. This is not my answer for x. So I'm going to have x minus 4 equals 0 and x minus 3 equals 0. Add 4, x equals 4, and add 3, x equals 3. Okay, so now it wants my perimeter. Remember, it's a rhombus. All the sides are congruent. So I'm going to take my x's. Since they're both positive, just plug them both in. I'll have 5 times 4, based off of this side, plus 12. That's 20 plus 12 is 32. And that would be this one side. So 32, and remember there's 4 sides total, so I need to multiply it by 4. So this would be 8. 3 times 4 is 12, 128. And then I'm going to have to take my 3 and also plug it in. So 5 times 3 plus 12. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 12. I get 27. And I need to multiply that by 4 because there's 4 sides. So 4 times 7 is 28. Bring over your 2 and have 108. So I have 2 options for my perimeter, and that's fine. Okay, we're moving down to the rhombus, and we're talking about RB equaling 7. This segment right here equals 7. MH equals 18. The whole segment equals 18, which means this portion over here equals 9, and this portion over here equals 9. The question is to solve for OH, which is this side right here. So I technically have a right triangle, right? Because where the diagonals intersect. And I would have, this side would also be 7 because they're bisected. I would have 7 plus 9 squared, I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem because it's a right triangle, equals, let's just say c squared. So 49 plus 81 equals c squared. 130 equals c squared. Take the square root of both sides. C equals rad 130, but it says answer to 2 decimals. So I would say OH, which is technically C, equals 11.4. And that's 68. All right, moving along to 69. We have a rock, which is a square. Okay. RK, this side, is 4x minus 37. And OC, which is this side, is 12x minus 25. Remember, they're opposite sides, so they're equal, and it's a square. All sides are equal. It says solve for x and find the area of the square. So I'm going to set them equal. 12x minus 25 equals 14x minus 37. I'm going to add 25 to both sides, I'm going to, add 25 to both sides and add 25. And I'm going to subtract 14x and subtract 14x. I'll end up with negative 2x equals a negative 12. I'll divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, x equals 6. All right, now it wants me to find my area. So, oops, kind of hard to see here. My apologies. I'm going to take that x and plug it back in to either equation, it doesn't matter. Then I'm going to have to multiply it by 4 because there's 4 sides. So 4 times 6 minus 37, well, 4 times 6, 14, sorry, 14. 14 times 6 is 72, minus 37 is 47. And I'm going to need to multiply that by 4 because there's 4 sides, which gives me 2,209. 2,209. And that's what we have. All right, so now we're moving to a trapezoid. KH is the median. All right, right here, KH. That means this and this are congruent, and this are congruent. FG is 28, and JI is 36. We want to solve for KH. Remember, we have to add our two bases, 28 plus 36, and divide them by 2, and that will give us our median. So I have 64 divided by 2, and that is 32, which means our median is 32. For 71, isosceles, right? Isosceles trapezoid. That means these base angles are equal and these legs are equal. So the measure of angle T equals 11x plus 1, and the measure of angle P equals 20x minus 62. We need to solve for x, r, and a. I'm going to set these equal since they're equal. 11x plus 1 equals 20x minus 62. All right, when I combine like terms, I'm going to get 63, or move things over, sorry, equals 9x, and x equals 7. So x equals 7. It wants me to solve for r and a. All right, I'm going to go ahead and solve for t. Go ahead and plug it into angle T. So here's angle T, 7 times 11 plus 1. That would be 77 plus 1, which would be 78. All right, remember, the opposite angles are supplementary. So I'm going to do 180, supplementary, they add to 180, minus 78, and that will give me 102. So that means angle A is 102. And these two angles are also congruent. They're bases, right? So 102 is what R would be as well. And our last problem. Trapezoid ZL is the median. Okay, RZ equals 2x plus 18, and ZT equals y plus 23. AL is x plus 19, and LP is 3y minus 16. This will be another substitution problem. These two are congruent to each other, and these two are congruent to each other. So I will set these two equal to each other. 2x plus 18 equals y plus 23. I'm going to get y alone. I'm going to subtract 23 and subtract 23. I'll have y equals 2x minus 5. And I'm going to set these equal to each other. X plus 19 equals 3y minus 16. Remember, y equals this. I will plug it in. X plus 19 equals 3 times 2x minus 5. X plus 19 equals 6x minus 5. I have x 50 equals 5x, and x equals 10. now I'm going to plug in y. So over here, I'm going to do 2 times 10 minus 5